Hi everybody, it's Chuck Bennett, back again live from NAMM 2015, Anaheim, California. This is a crazy place. This is day 4. It's Sunday, and there's a lot of people coming in, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm sitting here with Eric Cocco. Eric, now, are you the president of the company and Dad's the CEO?
Yeah, I'm like the general manager. I run the place. Yeah, pretty much.
That's great. That's great. So we're going to talk a little bit about LaBella strings. And if you've gotten strings on your instrument and you've gotten a chance to play on LaBellas, you know how wonderful they are. So let's talk a little bit about the company, if we could.
Great, absolutely.
How old is the company?
The company is over 100 years old. We incorporated in the beginning of the century. So officially, we're the oldest incorporated family-run string company in America.
Incredible. And it was started by who?
My great-grandfather, Olinto Mari.
Olinto Mari.
Olinto Mari, that's
From
correct.
Italy?
From Italy, that's correct. From the Abruzzi region in Italy.
In the Abruzzi.
That's right, that's right. It was actually the string-making capital of Europe for hundreds of years. We're actually the oldest documented string-making family in the world. First documentation was taking place in 1640 in a church.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow. And in that time period, has strings changed?
Oh, absolutely. Well, one of the reasons why it was a string capital is because the main resource was a sheep's gut. And that basically a great resource of these really hardy sheep. And really lean gut makes for really good sounding gut strings. So,
wow.
yeah. And of course, this past century, things started changing towards steel strings. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And now, obviously, you make strings for everything, right? And what do we have?
Absolutely. We make strings for, of course, the electric guitar, acoustic guitars. We have an orchestral line, but we also have an international folk line. So we cater to a lot of the different Middle Eastern instruments like ouds, a lot of South American instruments like quattros. So yeah, it runs the gamut. We make everything. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so great-grandfather started the company.
That's right.
Then your grandfather was in the company.
My grandfather was in the company, but it was on my grandmother's lineage, the Mari lineage.
Okay.
That's right.
And then your dad got involved in the company.
My dad got involved in his early 20s, and then I got involved in my early 20s, and my sister is now involved with the company for the past few years.
Okay, so, I mean, did Dad sit you down one day and say, Eric, you know, I got to talk to you. You know, you've been looking to be a car mechanic, and, you know, this isn't going to work.
I love cars. Didn't pan out for me, but my dad never pressured me ever to be part of the family business.
Really?
I just wanted to be part of it, and I think he had a kind of an interesting approach. He would take me to all these rock concerts to see my favorite rock and roll stars, and then I'd go backstage and meet him, and I was hooked. I was like, I want to be part of this business forever. So I knew I wanted to do it for my whole life, pretty much.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Now, it's not owned by another company. It's privately held.
Absolutely.
It's a family-run business.
Family-run business. Yes, absolutely.
How does the development of strings happen? Is it somebody gets an idea? Does Dad get an idea? Do you get an idea? Does somebody bring you an idea? What happens here?
Basically, we have a lot of close relationships with some of the best musicians in the world. And what happens is sometimes they come to us with ideas, but sometimes I come to them with things I've developed inside the string laboratory, like these strings right here.
Okay.
Ron Carter and my father, about 30 years ago, developed a black nylon string for his upright bass. He wanted something that was a little brighter than gut, a little warmer than chrome steels, and they developed this black nylon string. Well, he made it for a 34-inch scale, and then a few years I just decided to go absolutely crazy and start wrapping everything in white and trying all different type of nuances with tone with the different materials that we had in-house. So from stainless steel, copper, now gold and alloy, we have a huge range of white nylon tapes. And people are really digging it.
Wow, okay,
Yeah.
so I'm not, when I think of tape, right, I think of
Yes.
Scotch tape, I think of duct tape,
Sure.
I think of, well, I think that's probably it. I couldn't think of any other tape.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. But you're right, it's not tape.
It's
not tape whatsoever.
Okay, so why do you call it tape?
I think it's an easy way for people to relate to the string. What is that? You know, because people really ask, oh my God, what is this? Well, they're white nylon tapes. So in fact, what I do is I take a spool of monofilament, round, I pass it through a machine to flatten it out, according to what gauge or diameter I want. And then I apply that to a round wound string. And that monofilament is wrapped from top to bottom over the string, over the round wound part, and then we polish it with fine sandpaper to get it really, really smooth and remove all those ridges. So what you get is almost a glassy, smooth feeling.
Wow, wow. I mean, I'm thinking that's not a string. That's a machine. That's an amazing object.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to come back to these in a second because I want to really talk about this because nobody has anything like this, and this is very innovative. And people are getting to see this for the first time on Ugly Dog Studios Facebook page and website, and this is very, very cool. Okay, but let's talk back a little bit about what's happened over the years. Do you sell direct to consumers if they want to buy LaBella strings, or should we go to our music shop? And then tell me what happens if we can't find it.
Okay, sure, absolutely. Okay. There's so many outlets to get the strings. You could go to chains like Sandmash or Guitar Center to pick these up, but you know, we really like to cater to a lot of discerning musicians. People want to listen to something a little different. We cater to a lot of professionals, and oftentimes you can't go into just a regular old store to find something really special, you know? So going online is probably one of the best ways to find our strings.
Really?
Yeah, we have a lot of online retailers that carry a lot of eclectic sets for us, and we do a great job with it.
So you're not the sort of standard out there as far as the commodity string.
Correct.
If you want something special, if you want your instrument to sound special, if you want to have a particular kind of gauge on your instrument, LaBella is the place to go.
Absolutely. It is the place to go. I mean, we are the high-end guitar string. That's what we do. And if you see some of our artists, you'll understand why. These people really create their own signature sound with the instruments and strings they use.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you have artists that have used a particular set of strings consistently. They don't change.
For ages, absolutely. In this business, you know, musicians carry around a tone like a business card. You know, if you put on a record, you close your eyes, oftentimes you can tell it's a favorite who's playing from the first note. Like whether it's Clapton or someone else, you know that's a signature sound for a second.
Okay.
You know?
We've talked about your aha moment of why you got into the business. It's because Dad was taking you all the concerts. Right?
Sure.
Has there been any time that you thought, you know, maybe I want to get into something other than strings. Maybe I want to do something different than strings. Has that happened?
Absolutely.
And is that something going on inside of LaBella that we maybe should learn about?
Well, 2 years ago, I was really hungry to commemorate my great-grandfather somehow. We just passed our 102nd anniversary, and I really wanted to do something to honor him. He was a great guy. He came over to America with hardly anything, and made something of himself.
Probably landed in Ellis Island in New York.
He absolutely did. We have records of him landing in Ellis Island.
Wow.
Yes,
fabulous.
Absolutely. Now, he had a lot of different odd jobs, as a lot of immigrants did, Italian immigrants did at that point. But what he did do was start acquiring gut and the chemicals used to cure gut, and they would do this in their apartment, him and his brother Emilio. And they were basically trying to make a few extra dollars. But this tradition of making strings went so far back, they were experts at this, and it really showed when they started to go selling the strings at the different markets. And that's exactly what happened. All the stores started buying them, making viola and violin strings, and they needed more, and they needed more, and they needed more. So the company started growing quite quickly. And it moved from Manhattan, around 5th Avenue, 171, which really doesn't exist anymore, to eventually Long Island City. And now we've been in Newburgh for the past 30 years in Orange County, New York, right on the Hudson River.
Beautiful there.
Yeah, gorgeous area.
Yeah, over the Newburgh Bridge, right?
Right, Newburgh Beacon Bridge.
That's right.
Correct.
That's right.
That's absolutely
okay,
right.
so you said 2 years ago you wanted to do something that was going to commemorate your great-grandfather.
So I wanted to commemorate him. I wanted to do something really special, but I wanted it to make sense. And You know, we have this great history with some of the most famous bass players in the early part of the 50s and late 60s, and we thought of one primary thing, the P bass. There are more #1 hits that came out of Stax and Motown than any other, I guess, studio house.
James
Jamerson, Donald Duck Dunn, Bob Babbitt.
Oh, Donald Duck Dunn. Yeah, Bob Babbitt.
Amazing guys. The one commonality they all had was they all played a P bass and LaBella strings.
And LaBella strings.
Right.
Wow.
So all those hits coming out of those studios, LaBella strings. We created the Motown sound, helped create the Motown sound, of course.
Wow.
So, wow, it was clear as day. I said, let's do this P bass, but let's do it special. Let's make a handmade version of it. Let's make a very high-end boutique version. Let's hand wind our own pickups. Let's hand carve the necks.
Well, wait a minute. Wait. This is a bass you made?
Absolutely. We made this.
Wow. Wow.
Absolutely.
Look at that, but it looks so old.
Yeah,
Look at
this is a relic version. My builder, Mas Hino, built this beautiful instrument. And my cousin, James Carbonetti, who's a great guitar builder as well and musician, relic this instrument. He used these talents for some of the most famous rock and roll guys like Rich Robinson from the Black Crowes. And, you know, I had to ask him to do it for us.
I thought this was like a 30-year-old bass. You know, I thought this had been kicked around and thrown into gig bags, and so this is a new bass.
This bass is only a week old. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But the attention to detail is incredible.
It really is. It's amazing.
And it feels amazing too.
Yeah,
it sounds amazing.
It does feel amazing. Wow.
This is all nitro finish. This is all nitro cellulose finish.
So now you're going to be making musical instruments.
Absolutely, yes.
Wow, that's fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. I noticed something different on the headstock. Now,
Yes.
what is that on the headstock up there?
It's kind of our signature for our relics. I go to antique shops and I collect some old coins just for these basses. I use buffalo nickels, but I found this particular coin to be quite cool. It's from 1899. It's a Lady Liberty nickel.
Really?
And we use it as a string treat, clearly. And we named this bass, dubbed her Lady Liberty for that reason. Yeah.
Wow.
We name all our basses that come out of the house.
Tell me about the name on the bass. What does it say?
It says Olinto,
Olinto.
great-grandpa's name.
Great grandpa's name.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Okay, so we've got LaBella strings, over a 100-year-old history. We've got the total family business. We've got wonderful strings. You know, it's been passed down generation to generation. What works, what doesn't work. We're now making basses. Now I want to know about the magic, because I hear that what this is strung with isn't actually available yet. Is it available yet?
Available just for the NAMM. I mean, we released it at the NAMM show, so it's now available.
Now
in our
available.
catalog, yes.
All right, tell us about these strings, because they don't feel like anything I've ever felt before. I play bass, actually. I struggle with bass. I don't play, but this feels like nothing I've ever felt before. What is this?
Well, this is the 750G, the gold nylon white tape bass string.
Gold nylon white tape bass string.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
lost. Tell me. I mean, it looks. When I look at it, it looks like a wire wound.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't feel like a flat wound. It feels smoother than a flat wound.
Absolutely.
I'm shocked. Okay,
To the feel, to the touch, there's nothing really like it at all. It feels like glass.
Yeah.
What I do is, for this particular bass string, I take golden alloy wire, and I start constructing the string. Basically, this is what like an acoustic guitar is made out of, acoustic guitar strings. And then after that, everything is made by hand, by the way. Everything is made by hand. By hand, freehand. It's a true handmade string. I mean, no one really does it anymore, but we love the history of it, and we continue to carry that on. So I take the white nylon tape, and I start winding over the round golden alloy wire. Okay? We taper it off, put some silk on it to lock it down so it doesn't move, and we start the polishing process. We take a very fine grit sandpaper, and we start going back and forth by hand until you get all the grooves out. Once you get the grooves out, you get this beautiful, nice finish on the string.
Let's make sure everybody knows that. It's the grooves in the string, not the groove in the playing. The groove is in the playing. The grooves are not in the string.
That's right.
Okay,
that's right. You gotta have the groove, right?
Gotta have the groove.
So once you're done polishing it, you wipe it down a little bit, and you're left with this beautiful, smooth finish. So you don't feel any of the round coils underneath. You just feel that beautiful, smooth surface.
Wow. Wow. And is there just one gauge set for these, or is there multiple gauges?
There's two different styles. There's a 50 to 105. So basically, you could take off any standard bass set you have, pop them on, and you don't need a real setup. You don't have to go to the store to get a setup. We do have a 60 to 115. Provides a little bit more tension, a little bit more beef in the sound. I really love those strings, but people don't want to always take their bass to the shop to get their nut corrected and slotted out for a fatter string.
Right.
So it's a great alternative.
So 4 string sets, or do you have 5 string sets?
4, 5, and 6.
4,
and 7.
5, and 7.
And 7, yes, absolutely.
Oh my God.
One of our artists, Robert Bobby Lewis, who plays with a lot of great musicians, has his MTD strung with all of my strings. Golds, blacks, copper underlays on his 4, 5, 6, and 7 string basses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know one thing, that I've got a bass collection, and I'm going to be converting a lot of my basses, if not all of them, over to these strings.
Thank you.
I'm just amazed at how they feel. It's believe me, you ought to be trying this. This is unbelievable. It's an unbelievable feeling.
There's a lot of mojo in these strings, so you get a really great tone. You could really get that Motown feel.
That punch.
That punch, the boom with these strings.
That's what, it's funny, that's what every bass player is looking for. Now, could these possibly translate? Would there be at any point where you might have guitar strings that are built this way, or is it a little tough to do?
No, absolutely. Guys like John Pizzarelli, Bucky Pizzarelli, they all use them on their jazz boxes, on their 7-string guitars.
They've got the wound. Yeah. They've got the taped string on.
They do. They have them in black and white. And
unbelievable.
Yeah, they sound great. They sound great.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. Well, I'll tell you, it's a great show. The history of LaBella is just absolutely wonderful. I'm a little sad that I didn't come up here and find a little Lakeland Parmigiana and maybe an espresso with a small amount of anisette.
Nice. It's hard to find in Anaheim, I think.
Yeah, it's very hard to find it anywhere except for my kitchen. Okay. So all I want to say, Eric, is thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And let me tell you, everybody, if you want the best strings in the world, go to LaBella. You can find LaBella online.
LaBella.com.
Yeah, LaBella.com. You can find LaBella at some of the best music stores in the country. Get LaBella strings. Try them. If you need to find out what you want to buy, can people call you?
Absolutely. We pick up the phone at our factory.
Oh my God. They pick
up
the phone.
It's a novel idea.
An antique idea that works well. They pick up the phone. Okay, everybody, thank you. We're moving on. It's NAMM 2015. Eric Cocco at LaBella.